Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe on this Saturday. In today's news video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about Euro 2020. It's begun, but going to give you my full predictions and you guys can give me your predictions in the comments below. Also a little bit about Haaland, Daka being linked to Chelsea as well as a potential alternative to a striker this summer, and as well Antonio Rudiger, the future of the centre-back, Champions League winning centre-back for Chelsea. This article from The Athletic dropping last night about his current contract situation and a potential of a summer exit for Rudiger. So we're going to get into all of that and more. Make sure to hit that like button so new people find the channel. Hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads on the channel. But let's get into it. Euro 2020 officially has begun. Italy destroying Turkey last night. I mean, absolutely battering them. The first half was a little bit dull, but the second half, Italy stepped up in class. I think a lot of people, because of the fact that Italy weren't at the last World Cup, I think people felt that, you know, Italy, they're these real big underdogs, but they have still got some quality players. Always going to be a major nation and a major threat in these tournaments due to their history, due to getting quite deep in tournaments a number of times. So they're going to be a threat. They really are under Mancini. Look inspired, look really cohesive, playing some lovely stuff. I think Turkey was one of those teams pre-tournament people were like, could be a surprise package. They could still be, but I think that Italy probably will go far as they usually do in most tournaments when they're in them. But these are my predictions on screen now, and you guys in the comments get involved below. Give me your predictions for the tournament. Winner is going to be France. I know this is the most boring prediction I could give you, but I think France, I'm backing. I think it's always wise to back a team that has done well in the previous tournament, usually won it. You know, I think a lot of times they usually go the distance and usually are quite experienced and have that motivation to go again. So I think France as well, just the quality of squad, they have the best squad at this tournament, and not even their first team squad. You look at the under 23s French squad, I mean, it could set them up for a decade of dominance if they get it right. A bit like Spain, a bit like Germany in recent years, a really formidable team. I think it's going to be hard to stop. Golden boot I'm going to give to Romelu Lukaku, scored so many goals in Serie A, leading Inter Milan to the title, but I do think just an amazing forward, one of the best forwards in European football. I think will get a lot of goals, and I do think Belgium, even though I think there's some doubt around their sort of golden generation, this is sort of their last chance potentially, I do think they could actually go far in this tournament, but I still think France will be the winners. Golden Glove, because I'm giving France the trophy, I think Hugo Lloris will in turn be the Golden Glove winner. Young player of the tournament, we're switching between Belgium and France here. I'm going to go for Jeremy Doku, a player I've been excited by in recent years, a really exciting winger who I think is huge potential and potentially in this tournament could light up a bit. So I think a player to watch. My surprise team is going to be Switzerland. It was between Switzerland and Denmark. They're two countries that I think could spring a surprise, and I just think have some talented individuals in their squads, but I think have a really cohesive unit and also can defend well. I think both of these teams can sort of sit in, soak up pressure and get far in the tournament, which does you so well in these tournaments, and even more talented teams that don't have the same structure can be undone. So I think Switzerland is going to be my team. I think Jan Sommer in goal is a really impressive player for Borussia Mönchengladbach, experienced keeper, made a load of big saves over the years. Granit Xhaka, even though of course I think he's leaving Arsenal now, seems to do much better for Switzerland, looks like a different player for his country. Dennis Zakaria, a really exciting midfielder, box-to-box midfielder from Borussia Mönchengladbach too, and Jadon Shaqiri, who of course hasn't had the best season for Liverpool, but still can add that individual moment of brilliance like he has at the last Euro, score some incredible goals back then. So I'm probably going to go for Switzerland. I think they can make the quarter semis potentially this year. The best Chelsea player, I think there is a temptation because off the back of the Champions League win to think about Kai Havertz, to think about Timo Werner potentially, Mason Mount, Ben Chilwell, Reece James. I just think N'Golo Kante, I think if France make it all the way, Kante is going to have a lot of man of the match performances, and I think he may end up winning, you know, player of the tournament. But those are my Chelsea predictions. Let me know yours in the comments below. But let's get to an Erling Haaland update. Not much of an update, to be honest. I think all of the talk we've had in recent days has sort of been similar. We know Chelsea are interested. We know Chelsea are pursuing Erling Haaland this summer, trying to make the deal happen. Even the idea from Matt Law that Haaland would be open to a move to Chelsea, but the fee, about 154 million being reported by ESPN, and several sources even up to 180 million euros. I mean, it is just ridiculous, and I just wonder from you guys, you know, it's not only in a case of, you know, do you buy him, do you not? I just wonder what would be the expectation level for Haaland if he came in for that amount of money. If the fee was 154 million and Chelsea got it over the line this summer, I think the the expectation level for 154 million, I mean, we've never had a transfer that big at Chelsea, and I just would be curious to see what the expectation level would be for him, because I think it would be through the roof, and I think almost unrealistic given how much would be expected from him. But we're going to have to see how it goes. In terms of alternatives to Erling Haaland, you know, if Chelsea cannot get the deal done this summer, could look elsewhere. Sources in Germany claiming that Chelsea are one of the many teams monitoring RB Salzburg striker Patson Daka, who's had a really good season over there. If you want to learn a little bit more about Daka, because I don't know that much about him myself, I definitely suggest go and read this piece about sort of striker alternatives to Haaland and Lukaku, and Daka is named. Just to read a section from his piece, the 22-year-old is very much the next diamond off the Red Bull production line. During the 2020-21 campaign, Daka struck 27 times in 28 matches in the Austrian Bundesliga to ensure Salzburg clinched yet another title. Such an output is hugely impressive, although there is an obvious caveat that Daka is playing in the most dominant side in Austrian football and is presented with an abundance of chances. But you think about, of course, Erling Haaland leaving Salzburg a couple of years ago to go to Borussia Dortmund. It does seem more and more like, as I've said continuously this week, and I don't think this is going to change unless, you know, Chelsea change their strategy. It's kind of first choice or bust. You know, it's first choice or we're not signing anyone, which I still do think is the smart play this summer, actually. But then you see how that will impact basically everyone else in the squad, whether we'll keep more players than you'd expect to leave this summer. But we're going to keep up to date with all this. But a player that might be leaving and would be a shock departure this summer is Antonio Rudiger. This came out from Simon Johnson yesterday in The Athletic. Antonio Rudiger no close to signing new Chelsea contract considering future. Rudiger has just 12 months left on his current deal to run, but there have been suggestions that formalising an extension is just a matter of time. The Athletic reported in March, however, that the centre-half was not going to enter into any formal discussions until after representing Germany at the Euros, and this remains the case. While he is very happy at the West London club and loves playing for coach Thomas Tuchel, he is wary that the next contract will probably be the last big one of his career. Sources say that he's looking for a 4-year deal. However, it is not just about the length of agreement, but also the terms. The Athletic has been told that Rudiger is outside the top 10 highest earners at Chelsea, despite being one of the major leaders in the dressing room. The Germany international joined Chelsea from Roma for an initial 29 million, with add-ons taking it up to 33 million in 2017, and has seen a number of players arrive since then be paid significantly more than him. Simon Johnson also brings up Callum Hudson-Odoi being paid a lot, you know, as a young player who still is yet to fully break into the first team as a regular. I'd be shocked if Rudiger does leave this summer, and I think the fact that Simon Johnson does bring up in his piece that, you know, they're reporting back in March that he wasn't going to open up any more discussions until after the Euros, and I think that's the case for a lot of players this summer. They're going to be focusing on their countries, focusing on the tournament. That kind of happens, you know, the moment Germany get knocked out or after that, you may see things ramp up. I would be very shocked. You know, Rudiger would be one of those players that I do think there's a question mark over, because, of course, when he hasn't signed a contract, there's always that possibility he could leave. I look at his age. I have said this before, despite his excellent performances. I don't expect Rudiger to be here for 4 years. I think that he will be here probably 1 or 2 more years and then may move on. The club may look to get a profit from him, but he's been in amazing form since Thomas Tuchel has arrived, the best form of his Chelsea career. A bit like Christensen in defence, his Chelsea stock has never been higher, so I think it's understandable he'd want to get a bigger contract and see himself with Thomas Tuchel at least for a season as another main player in the first team, when this time last year, you know, there was rumours about him leaving to say go to Spurs. So I'm not, you know, overboard, you know, going, oh no, this is the end for Rudiger. I don't think it is. I've constantly said that in the centre-back sort of scenario and situation this summer, I'm looking at players like Kurt Zouma as potential departures rather than Rudiger. I think this will probably be sorted out. It does leave the question, though, that when we hear reports about Varane potentially being a big target for Chelsea this summer and other centre-backs, you do think if Rudiger was to leave, that's why you'd go for a big move, say, to get Varane in to replace Antonio Rudiger. I think this probably will be done. I don't think Rudiger will be leaving the club this summer. That's just my personal opinion at the moment. That's not any ITK news, and I think I'd be quite shocked given Rudiger where he stands at the moment at Chelsea. You know, it's never been better for him, and I think that his stock is high, which maybe for him sees a potential to go somewhere else and get a bigger wage potentially. But he's at the European champions. You know, we hope Chelsea are competing for a Premier League title. I think there's a good chance Chelsea could seriously compete for that Premier League title next year with Thomas Tuchel, and Rudiger could cement an even greater legacy at Chelsea next year. So I expect him to stay. I expect that contract to be signed. signed. Just interesting to see this, upon the European Championships. Let me know your opinions about Rudiger, his future at Chelsea, in the comments below. But that is it for this edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch it. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Enjoy the Euros football, and I'll see you again.